Hi, this is Elvira from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you how to convert any of your stamp into a die cut, so that way you can use your die cut machine. You need to have the shortcuts a lot, but you can use your die cut machine to die cut the shape of your stamp, and then you can stamp on top of it. My inspiration for this is a lot of sources. One is Stampin' Up!, as you know. Stampin' Up! Sells the stamp, and then you buy the punches, the die cut punches, and you can punch out the flowers or whatnot. Sizzix also does something like that. Sizzix teamed up with Hero Art, so this is a Hero Art stamp, and then you buy the corresponding, it comes together with the die cut, and you can stamp your image and then you can die cut it. Also, Utility Stamp has teamed up with Spellbinder, and they have gorgeous stamps that you can buy along with the dies, and it works perfectly with each other. Well, I wanted to create something like that for my stamping, because a lot of times I have to end up cutting it by hand, especially those little intricate areas like this radial. It's kind of hard to cut those little pieces out. This little piece out, as you can see there. So I wanted the die cutter machine to do it for me. So simply it'll cut it out, and I just need to stamp it, and then I have a perfect die cut for my layouts. Same as ticket stamp. So I wanted the die cutter machine to cut out the ticket, so that way I simply only have to stamp it, and it's a perfect match. For this demonstration, I'm going to use this stamp, and I'm going to make a die cut for the movie ticket, for the movie film. The first thing you need to do is you need to scan it like I did there. So first you're going to go ahead and stamp it on a piece of white paper. And then I have a handheld scanner. And I use my iConverter, and I scan the image. And that's what you see here. The next thing I need to do is I need to darken that image. My shortcuts a lot, it's not going to really see this as much. So I really need to go in here and open up my my Photoshop element. I'm going to click on this tool, which is called, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a selection tool. And you're just going to go ahead and select that image that you want to create the die cut from. You're going to go ahead and click on edit. You're going to copy. Then you're going to open the file and create a new file. We'll go into file, create a new file, blank file. And it doesn't matter what numbers or whatever you put in there, just leave the default and hit OK. So there you have it. And then you're going to go into edit, and you're going to do paste. Now that's a little too light for shortcuts a lot, so we really need to darken that image. So we're going to go into enhance, and we're going to go into black and white, and we're really going to try to darken as much as we can that image. They're perfect. Let's see if we need to darken a little more. I think that's good enough. And then you're going to hit OK. The next thing I like to do is I like to make it real sharp. So I go into enhance, and I like to go into adjust sharpness. And I really want to make sure it's nice and sharp, which it looks like it is. Then hit OK. Excuse me. The next thing I'm going to do is wait until it's done. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to save this. So I'm going to go ahead and save as, and you do not want to save it as Photoshop PSD or PDD. You want to save it as JPEG. And you want to name it, I'm going to name it movie film. And then I'm going to hit save, accept the default, and hit OK. Now I'm done with that piece. Now I'm going to go into my shortcuts a lot, and then I'm going to click on this button that says here image, trace image. And I'm going to go ahead to browse. And I'm going to go ahead and look for the movie film. Hit OK or open. And hit OK. So there is my movie strip. I'm going to go ahead and make it smaller. Okay. And then the next thing is you really need to adjust it. So what I usually do is I take some film. I'll take my stamp. Because I need to adjust the image here. I'm going to take some black ink. Let me clean my desk because it's kind of messy. Hold on. And let me bring you down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have a clear film because I need to adjust the size so it'll work. Gonna take some black ink, ink up my stamp real good, and then just ink the transparency. So there I have it. Okay, and I'll clean my stamp later. Okay, so there I have a perfect image of my stamp. Now let's go back up here. Okay. First of all, we need to measure because this is 12 by 12. So actually, this is actually 2.5 inches wide. And it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches long. If you look at your stamp is not 7 inches long. Your stamp is actually a little less than 2 inches long. And by 1 inch less, like a 1 inch and 1/8, 1/16 wide. So if you cut it right now, it's going to be too big for your stamp. So what I like to do is I like to go into here and I'm going to zoom in, keep zooming in. So I keep zooming in until from here to here, from this block is exactly 1 inch. So keep zooming. And you'll need a ruler. So let me see. Not quite 1 inch yet. I think one more zoom. And see, it's exactly 1 inch. So my image is exactly 1 inch. Now I'm going to go ahead and make it small. And I'm going to put this against my tablet. And I still need to adjust it. And now it needs to be a little bigger. A little bigger, just a tad bigger. Let's see. And I'm kind of on an angle so you can see what I'm doing, so it's kind of hard. I just need one little tad bigger. And a little tab smaller. I think that's about right. Okay, so I got the perfect size. Now, I do not want to cut out all the little blocks and this. What I want to create is a shadow, so that way it cuts the shadow, the outline of my strip, and then I'm just going to go in with my stamp and stamp it. Now, another thing I can do is, and also I want to make sure that I can either create a shadow that will go all around my image around like that without knocking out the middle part, or I can create a shadow that also has the middle part knocked out. So the first thing I need to do is create my shadow. So I'm going to go into appearance right here. And right now the style is normal, but I want to go ahead and create a blackout. Oh, and actually before I do that, always make sure you save. I'm going to undo what I did. Okay. What I'm doing right now is creating a second image. So I'm going to copy and then go back into edit and paste. Now I have two identical images, and I'm going to work with the second image and set aside the first. Okay, so now I made another copy. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into appearance style. And I'm going to go ahead and select shadow pointy. And give it a minute to work. So there's my shadow. And then some of this, I might want to work on that. So let me go ahead and put straight instead of pointy. There. So that one looks better. And then notice that it's a little thick. So let me bring it up. Bring it up a little bit. And so if you're happy with that, you can, but you can also go into here where there's a number scale and you can decrease it a little bit. And then I like that better. So now I made a perfect shadow for my stamp. And then this one, now I can go ahead and get rid of this one because I don't need it. Because I do have the stamp, so I do not need that piece. I just need the stamp image. I mean the shadow image. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom to fit to window. Get rid of all those extra stragglers there. And let's test this out. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my mat. And let's go to the Cricut and look at it when it cuts. Okay, so here's my Cricut. I just turned it on. And I'm going to load my mat on my Cricut. Make sure it's nicely adhered there. I'm going to load mat. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit cut. So I'm going back to my software and I'm going to tell it to cut it. And it's going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to unload. It is done. So let's go back to my table and let's see how this works. I'm going to unload my mat. And there. Now I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper so that way I know. And sometimes it helps if you have a darker color scrap paper. So let me use black. So that way you can see it. Now this is going to be the big reveal. See if I did it right. And there you have it. It actually cut pretty. Now these are kind of hard because it is a rubber stamp, so you kind of have to gauge it. I could have done a better job in gauging it, evening it out, but it looks good. If you look at my other pieces that I have, I don't know where I put them, but here they are. These were a little better because they're acrylic, so you really could see where you're stamping. This one, let's try it again. Good thing is you can turn it the other way around. Let's see if I can do a better job this time. Kind of, but it beats cutting it out. So I just need to play with it a little better and kind of get in there and kind of stamp it. But there you have it. It works great when you have acrylics, but it also works well when it's like foam here. So I hope I was able to teach you a way of using your shortcuts a lot and then converting all your stamps that you have. Now you're not restricted with whatever stamp companies want to create for whatever die cuts. You can create your own die cuts for your own stamp using shortcuts a lot and a die cutting machine. I hope you enjoyed this and thank you for watching. Bye. I forgot to show you how to save it. So once you have it, you have created the perfect die cut, then you want to save it. So you're going to go into File and do not save it as a project. You want to go into File, Export, and that's going to save it as SVG, and then you're going to go ahead and name it whatever you want to name it. Movie film.
Oh, they don't do that.
And then you're going to hit Save. And that's it. So that's how you save it. Make sure you save it as an SVG when you export it. Another thing, after you cut out your shape, the first one that I cut out, you notice that when I stamped it, because it's made out of rubber, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly the position. It's not as easy as when it's made out with acrylic. So what you do, how I was able to get these a perfect alignment, is once you cut it out, so here once you cut it out, you stamp your image, I mean your ink your stamp. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lay the piece on top and then press down. Once you do this, you have a perfect image on the other side. So that's just a trick, a little tip on when you're doing your die cuts when you're using a rubber stamp. So there you have it, and I hope you like it, and come back to see me for some more. Bye.